Dan and Corey here, welcoming you into Libservative.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back.
Yeah, welcome in to another rousing rendition of Libservative, intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy, and the world's smartest internet show. Bell the Body Snatcher on the ones and twos. He, as always, is Corey Walsh.
He's Dan Griffin.
And we got a hell of an episode in front of us today, boys, because I just saw a few things like right before we went on the show and decided we gotta fucking talk about it. Pete Hegseth has had himself a rough week. He has really had a rough week. I hope he doesn't take up drinking again, but I have to assume that he's definitely thinking about hitting the bottle a little bit after the week that he's had. So,
Arresting me for what? I'm not allowed to stand up for myself? I thought this was America. Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
It's, of course, actual audio of Pete Hegseth after a DUI. I don't know how we get a hold of future audio on this show, but we do it. We do it all the time. We have hostages being released early Monday morning out of Gaza. We have, what else? Jesus Christ, where are my notes? We have a Douglas Murray being totally busted by Ryan Grimm, and what the hell is the name of his publication?
Drop Site.
Drop Site. Yeah. For basically being a propagandist for Israel after, a few months later after going after Dave Smith for having never been to Israel. This new APAC propaganda commercial is, it's outstanding. It honestly looks like somebody went to Peter Thiel and said, make us the most cliche, unbelievable, stupid propaganda video you can possibly make us using OpenAI. Please do this. Please. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, they probably used the free version. They didn't want to
it sure looks like they did, right? What are you trying to say, Corey?
I'm not trying to say anything. I would have used.
Was that a Jew joke?
It's
okay if it was.
As I was saying it, it did start to come out like that, and it was like, oh, that's not what I mean.
It's okay. We can make fun of everybody. We can make fun of Jews. It's okay. It's okay. It's a good joke. As he tries to walk it back.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Marjorie Taylor Greene has, I don't know if she has a good or a bad problem here when it comes to her apparent flip on deportations after going on Tim Dillon's show. I like what she had to say, but there's a lot of people in the MAGA movement that didn't exactly like what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say. We'll get into that a little bit. Lyft and Uber lying to women about whether or not they can choose women drivers for their safety. I don't hate this feature, but it better actually exist if you're going to have this feature. And we got some, you sent this over yesterday, Corey. I hadn't seen it yet, but we have these apparent linked texts from young Republicans.
Oh yeah,
saying some pretty rotten stuff. And Gavin Newsom signed a law banning the sale of Glock in the state of California because he's a real winner. Real 2A guy, that Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, Republicans and Democrats both really like taking the Second Amendment away from Californians.
It's true. It's very, very true. Well,
Ronald Reagan did it first.
We got to start here, Bell. I got to have you get that video pulled up of Nancy Pelosi because this just happened earlier this afternoon. Absolutely hilarious video. Nancy Pelosi completely losing her shit on a Lindell TV reporter.
And real quick, actually, the similarities are also there, right? They're taking the they took the long guns away originally because the Black Panthers were arming themselves, which is a predominantly black group. And now there's a
Predominantly,
lot
I
of
would
crime. Wait, there's probably a couple of white people in the Black Panthers, right?
Yeah,
There's,
probably is,
like,
yeah.
I've been invited to the cookout. Have you ever been invited to the cookout, Dan? Anyways,
Yeah, and there was obviously there was Jenny from Forrest Gump. She was
and her boyfriend. Sorry, I ruined your Black Panther party. But then also, it's like unfortunate, but like the statistics don't lie. But a lot of like handgun crimes happen in the inner cities. A lot of handgun crimes happen in the inner cities, where it's some of it, like it's a good amount is black on black crime. So let's punish the black people that live in those cities who want to protect themselves from that crime and tell them they can't have guns. Just like
no more guns. No more guns in the inner cities.
Gavin Newsom taking a little fucking play right out of Reagan's playbook.
An entire manufacturer of what I looked.
It's always
into
the
this
minorities that suffer.
I looked into this a little bit, and like I was telling you and Bell earlier, like you guys know a little bit more about guns than I do. But what I gathered from this was that is that it's not just Gavin Newsom; it's the whole of the state government in the state of California. They're drastically trying to shrink the roster of buyable handguns in the state of California, and I guess Newsom's big thing is safety features. Right, like he doesn't want to allow the sale of handguns that don't have an external safety or don't have a what's the other big one? A round in the chamber indicator. Like if they don't have those two things, he doesn't want them. And here's the thing, like,
so let's make it to where everyone's gonna have guns that don't eject the shells, so there's no evidence on a crime scene. Perfect.
Right. My whole thing about safety features. Go ahead, Bell.
I was going to say this right here is just him trying to literally change how gun manufacturers make their guns. He started to try to do that when he limited the amount of rounds that a magazine could hold in a gun legally in California. What is it, 6? I think.
I don't know. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't think we have.
That's what they have in California. You can't.
I guess we're going back to revolvers.
Stupid, because what you would do then is you would make a clip with a dummy space, and then people are just going to modify that clip and take the dummy space out. It's like when you buy a shotgun. When you buy a shotgun, it comes with the rod and the stock, because when you hunt with a shotgun, I believe you're only allowed to have 3, 1 in the chamber and 2 in the stock. So when you buy like shotguns, often there's a wood like dowel rod in like the stock, but if you take it apart, you can just pull that out, and then you could put 4 in there and 1 in the. Actually, it might even be 5,
8,
which isn't illegal. It only makes it illegal if
you're hunting. But
yeah, and
the whole point. I was going to say the whole point is.
Go ahead.
They're right now they're making parts. Like there's a lot of companies that make AR pistols that are making parts California compliant, and I think they're actually making money on this.
And also, yeah, you're just introducing just a whole new gun to the market. You just make something different. But then also you can also hunt and not have that rod in there. You just can only carry 3 rounds. It's like a dummy rod.
I don't know. For me,
for someone who can't count bullets. Oh, I can't fit any more in there. I guess it's full. Like,
for me, as far as safety features on firearms, I am totally cool with manufacturers making these things. Like, I think even most 2A people would agree with this. Like, anything that makes a firearm safer for an end user, but also doesn't affect the effectiveness and the usability of the gun, I think most 2A people are for that. It's when the government comes in and mandates it that it becomes a problem, right? Am I close there?
Yeah, for the most part. Like, and it's funny because like Bell met, and there's always a workaround. There's always a fucking workaround. Like Bell, come back in here. Dan might not know this one.
I
like pistols have to have a safety, right? In some states, like it's the law.
No, in some states, yeah.
Where's the safety on a Glock?
Depends on the Glock. Some Glocks don't have safeties. They're also they're hammerless. So that's
no. A lot of Glocks, the safety is in the trigger.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know what
That's
I'm
every
talking about?
pistol,
Like it's still technically a safety, but it's
Yeah,
no
but
different than
see,
pulling a regular trigger. You kind of just have to
the
move your
problem is
finger
though,
down because there's like a trigger on a trigger kind of thing. So you
how
have
many
to like be
people do
more
you see
conscious.
taking pictures and shit? Dumbasses taking pictures. They got no trigger discipline, and then in a situation, you got
No, those
these
people are just
idiots
fucking
about to
idiots.
pull. Right, but if those people are in a situation, those are the type of people pulling a pistol out with their finger on the trigger, shooting themselves.
In the
Yep.
leg or the
So
dick.
Or
so now
idiots.
we're back
Yeah.
to right now. It's like, yeah, we should be talking about having safety features on guns, but this guy's taking it too far.
Mm. Yeah, they want to.
Yeah.
He wants to shrink the roster of legal firearms in
Yep.
California as far as he can get it. Let's get to this Nancy Pelosi video. That's how I meant to start the show.
I think it's political. He wants to say he did that, so he did things against guns. Because at this point we know he's running for president.
David Hogg loves them. I bet you.
Jeez.
I bet you. So Nancy Pelosi was accosted by this Lindell TV reporter. By the way, Corey and I looked into this Lindell TV network. We're just looking at. I just watched the video. I didn't even notice that it said Lindell TV in the upper right hand corner. And Corey goes, Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, has like an internet TV channel.
Yes,
I'm like,
he
I don't know.
does.
Is it the same guy? Sure enough, it is. They have Cracker Jack reporting like
Dude, I watched 5
Rudy
minutes
Giuliani.
of it, and it was, it's so wild, right? Because my son, he likes, he's 6 years old, under adult supervision, obviously. He likes to go on
Porn?
YouTube and just watch just brain rot stuff, and we definitely limit it. We only give him like an hour or so of it a day, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, but but depending if we're doing homework or not. But he'll watch this brain rot stuff, and I'm watching this, and I'm just like what the fuck? It's like I feel like I'm on Idiocracy watching that show where people just get kicked in the nuts.
I like money.
And I get that same gut feeling in my belly when I'm watching like Fox News or or MSNBC or like this took the cake watching Giuliani. Like I clicked on it and and he was talking to that reporter from this video. And oh my god, dude, like it was just.
By the way,
What the
this reporter looks like exactly what you would expect a Lindell TV lady reporter
there's a lot of
to look
blondes
like.
on that show.
Blonde, loaded with Botox, just exactly what you would
She
expect.
tastes like cigarettes.
Yeah, kind of. Anyway, go ahead and roll the video, Belle. This is Nancy Pelosi. I'm
Congresswoman
not here to
Pelosi,
defend Nancy Pelosi.
are you at all concerned that the new January 6th committee will find you liable for that day? Are you at all concerned about the new January 6th committee finding you liable for that day? Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you. Congresswoman Pelosi.
Isn't there like a timeline like thing involved in all of that to where it's like a gotcha for either side about the National Guard?
For sure.
Wasn't Pelosi asked if they should have more National Guard on the grounds that day or something like that before the incident, and she said, I don't think we need it. And
I
then
don't
the day
remember, and
of-
I don't really give a shit, to be honest.
Hey, Belle, I don't know if you could try to find some on that. Go ahead and look that up, because I think she declined. Like, I think she did decline National Guard, but it was like in preparation of the day or something like
Come
that.
on now, you expect me to believe that?
I might be misremembering this, but I feel like there was some sort of thing that it seems kind of silly that they're using it as a gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, Trump supporters can be like, "Oh, Nancy Pelosi declined it," and then Democrats can be like, "Oh, the president never sent it." Like, it's just a back and forth.
Yeah,
I don't think we need another J6 commission. I
Right.
don't think we need that in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the only thing we would need a J6 commission for is to hold the people accountable that were responsible for throwing like regular protesters in prison for 3 years. I think those people should be held accountable, if you know what I mean. But as far as like the actual actions of that day, I just don't care anymore. I don't.
Lindell TV with crackerjack shows like Maha with Mike on 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Is Mike bald and fat? Please tell me Mike is bald and fat. Who's Mike?
I don't know. I mean, he is bald, but he looks pretty fit. He looks like he works.
Okay. All right. That's all right. All
right. Scriptures and Wall Street on 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Talk about two things that go together but don't go together at all.
The Hope Report.
Does Joel Osteen host that show?
He's like, I don't have Wall Street. I have God's people.
With Joel Osteen and Kenneth Copeland.
The War Room, which is probably a staple. The Absolute Truth with Emerald Robinson.
Yeah, I'm sure everything in that show is true. And absolutely so.
Obviously, absolutely.
They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
The Rudy Giuliani Show, which he doesn't obviously have too much to say. His show is only an hour long. Every day,
Once a week.
But it is only an hour.
It's every day. All right. Yeah, that's okay. That's pretty good.
The Spin Room. Get Free with Christy Lee. The Dr. Maria Show.
I don't know who Christy Lee is.
I don't either. And then
Is she blonde with big lips?
No, she's actually one of the very few brunettes on there.
Oh, well, she's a token then. It's okay. Gotta have.
But every other girl that I mentioned on here appears to be blonde. Yes, except for Diamond and Silk. Which Diamond? Well, I don't know which one's Diamond and which one's Silk, and I don't know if you remember them. But it's the two older black girls who love Trump.
No, I don't.
Okay. Hey Bell,
lexicon.
See if you could find like where the fuck did Bell go?
Is he there? Is he hiding in the Lincoln Memorial?
He must be.
Bring up the screen. There's Bell. Bell ran in to give Lincoln a hug.
But Diamond and Silk always had these videos. And real quick, see if you could find one, and I'll try to filibuster. Just look up Diamond and Silk, like on TikTok or something.
Nope.
But yeah, these two girls were always...
We have white privilege.
They were on like Facebook and stuff, and one of them would be talking about Trump, and the other one would always just be going, and I'll tell you what, sister. And like, they had a good bit, and like people loved it.
Fucking white people.
But
all right,
they never had like, it was, what's that?
Bell's got it.
I was gonna say,
you got
the
it.
answer to your Pelosi question is, so the DC police requested the National Guard the day before, and Pelosi denied them and then denied them the day of. Then, when all the shit went down, Pelosi called in the National Guard and Trump delayed the National Guard.
Yep. So both sides have
Sometimes
a
I got a mind like a steel trap, and sometimes it's like a colander trying to hold water, Dan.
Your type of autism is impressive, Corey. It
comes in clutch.
Different.
Ew, gross.
Oh man, what a week for Pete Hegseth, right? So
I think Dan's type of autism is just calling everyone else autistic.
That's not a very good autistic superpower.
I didn't say it was a good one. That's just yours. Like,
I'm like the guy in the Marvel movies who shoots bow and arrow. What's that guy's name?
It's like you have gaydar, but it's for autistic people.
Yeah, I'm the bow and arrow guy.
And that gift of autism that you speak of mine is called ADD.
It's not even real.
Yeah, it's called autism, I guess.
Pete Hegseth.
My dad goes, it was called a short attention span. The teacher would smack me in the back of the head, and I'd pay attention real quick.
Oh yeah. And he would waddle away with his walking stick.
He might have then too, because he did have polio.
Yeah.
Mama said, "These are my magic shoes."
Pete Hegseth had a hell of a week. Speaking of people with weird types of autism, Pete Hegseth was...
Don't get bogged down by all the haters out there.
He's being called out for allowing a quote unquote Qatari air base in Idaho. We have to be clear about this. It's not actually a base, right? You know this, Corey, right? It's not actually an air base. it is a facility that will hold Qatari aircraft, mostly F-15s, and a certain amount of airmen on an existing airbase.
Right, for training.
Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho. So, like, we have to, like, call the thing what it actually is. However, optically, still not the greatest look for Pete Hegseth, is it, Corey?
No.
Or the Trump administration. They get an airplane. He gets a new Air Force One. He gets a bunch of money. And in exchange, you can hold a bunch of aircraft on our sovereign land.
Right.
But what I do find interesting about this is it's kind of like a really minor experience that Americans are getting of everything that we've done in the Middle East for the last 60 years, where we just build bases over there to keep the peace, as they say.
Right.
So I'm like weirdly not even that mad about this.
So is Qatar the new empire? They got to be in like 5th or 6th now, right, for having military bases in other countries?
I don't know. I have no idea. Not really important, but I mean, it is.
Hey, Bell, real quick, look up the number of countries that have military bases in other countries.
This is another one of Corey's autistic superpowers. When he doesn't know, he just uses Bell's Googling skills.
Like, who knew all it took was a plane to get a military to get access to an American military base? But yeah, it's only going to be 300 personnel, and you had to have had your head in the sand if you don't think in all of our bases already that we don't have military personnel from other countries here training with us and doing shit like that. This might not even be the first one. Like, I bet you there's other allies that have quarters and stuff like that on military bases in America. I think this one almost might be. I mean, unless they don't. But this also just might be just it's a story because it's Trump.
So what you're saying is Pete Hegseth did what so many in this administration like to do, and in a lot of ways it's a good thing that this happens. It's a lot of ways it's not so good, but Pete Hegseth just kind of said the quiet part out loud.
I'm assuming so.
What you got, Bill?
There used to be a lot of countries, but since World War II, obviously the number's fallen. But the U.S., Turkey, United Kingdom, Russia, India, France still possess a substantial amount of land overseas. Other countries, though, China, Iran, Italy, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, and the UAE also have military bases off country.
You can add Qatar to that now.
You can add Qatar to that list now. What a weird country to add to that list.
No, it's not. Money.
But yeah, like and even what I've found too, it's still Liberty Twitcher just said it too, but it's also still under U.S. control. And so I probably like these type of stipulations. I bet you this isn't new. It's just Trump.
It's
probably
Trump, probably 14 other ones.
But because it's Trump, everything with Trump hits the news cycle. So his base heard about it and they're pissed.
Well, and what other secretary
before?
And what other Secretary of Defense, or in Hegseth's case, Secretary of War, would have made this announcement while signing an agreement with whatever nation that he's talking with? I don't think another Secretary of Defense would have done that.
Right.
But Pete Hegseth, a lot like Trump, doesn't really have much of a filter. And again, there's good things about that because we get to actually hear the truth a lot of the time by accident.
Yeah, I love that. I love it.
And there are bad things about it.
Exposed. Because everything that Trump does, there is a fucking parallel to the Democrats doing the same thing. They just did it quietly.
Yeah. Trump just
that goes for almost
loudly.
everything. Like all of the deportations, both Obama and Biden did it. I think he just passed Biden's numbers. Biden at the end there was he had 2 million deported or something, didn't he? And we know Obama had 3 or 4.
Biden was just deporting them, and they were just walking back up Mexico and right back up the border.
Yeah, 3. Biden had 3. But
with backpacks full of fentanyl.
But here's the difference: is they just did it quietly and didn't talk about it. Trump's dumbass is flying in Black Hawk helicopters and just fucking has masked men running around the streets arresting American citizens.
Come on now, you expect me to believe that?
Yes, I do. You can see videos of it all the fucking time. And then, like,
no, it's AI.
I'm not even talking about the agitators or any of them getting shot in the face with the pepper ball, like the priest. Like, at first, it's like, holy shit, they just shot the priest in the face with a pepper ball. But also a riot zone, when it's like declared a riot, when everyone's fighting and things are getting burned and stuff like that. Rule of law is kind of out the window. You can't go into an area where people are smashing windows and then get popped in the face with a pepper ball and go, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, the cops are all faceless figures to you. You're all faceless figures to them. There's a line drawn. People are going nuts.
Arresting me for what? I'm not allowed to stand up for myself? I thought this was America.
Understandable.
Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
Yeah, I thought so too. But at the same time, you know, like, I guess, like, right for the peacefully assemble is one thing, and then going out there and doing all that is another. But Constitution still kind of restrains the government from attacking the people, not vice versa.
Yeah. So I think we're in agreement here. The reaction to Pete Hegseth's quote unquote military base that's being built in Idaho, that's not actually being built at all. It's just a portion of the base is holding Qatari aircraft and Qatari airmen.
Liberty Twitter just said there was an environmental assessment in 2022 considering the bed down of Qatari F-15s at Mountain Home AFB. So, sounds like this was kicked off under Biden.
Already in the works. Yeah. Well, we have to verify that, but honestly,
Bell, go ahead and look that up.
Absolutely believe it.
I believe it too. And not that Biden knew, he said. But nope, it's the perfect example of two wings of the same bird.
Yeah. So again, I think we're in agreement on this. Not great. I'm not a fan of it, but also not as big of a deal as it's being overblown to be. Right? Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree.
Anything to make Trump look bad. So, yeah, okay. So, but the worst thing that happened to Pete Hegseth this week, of the two things, was today, where Pete Hegseth decides to do what most people in power over the course of the last 100 years do best, which is to find a way to stomp all over Americans' First Amendment rights. How the Secretary of War did this? How did the Secretary of War do this, you ask? Well, he decided to rewrite the rules for the press corps at the Pentagon. So what are these rules? So this is an actual tweet from Pete Hegseth from yesterday. What
are the rules?
He says, Pentagon access is a privilege, not a right. I think even that statement alone, there is a legitimate argument to be had in the opposite direction. But he also goes on to say, so here is at Department of War press credentialing for dummies. Number one, press no longer roams free. Okay. The press never did roam free in the Pentagon. Various Pentagon correspondents have verified and confirmed this.
Around in the lobby in front of the elevators.
It is one
where the janitors could go.
It is one of the it is one of the most closed off buildings on the globe, more so than the White House. Certain DC reporters have pointed out. The press must wear a visible badge. They always have. They've always worn a visible badge inside the Pentagon.
What you got, Bill?
But go ahead, Bill.
Okay, so in this environmental assessment, I got one from 2018 too, like the actual documents. They also did this for the Singapore Air Force, in the same place. But now it's going to become Qatari, and that was agreed upon in 2021, not 2022. But he's still right.
Source?
Finalized.
Question mark?
The Department of the Air Force, they began.
That's a good source.
Drafting
it's like straight from the horse's mouth.
In 2021.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Source the Navy. I mean,
Great.
Yeah, the Air Force.
So, yeah, cool stuff.
Airforce.com.
All right, so cool.
Not that Biden knew yet.
But the biggest one, the one that's really getting reporters' panties in a bunch, and for good reason, is that now at the Pentagon, credentialed press is no longer permitted to solicit criminal acts. What the fuck does that even mean? I'll tell you what I think it means. I'll tell you what most of these reporters thinks it means is that they're not able to do their job. So what Pete Hegseth is doing here is he's trying to make it. I don't know if he literally means illegal or just like against, Pentagon rules or whatever, but
okay, so that's very ambiguous and very vague. And the definition of to solicit a criminal act. To solicit a criminal act means to intentionally ask, encourage, command, or attempt to persuade another person to commit a crime, even if the crime never happens. So that's them pressing them for classified information.
Correct.
Which is
exactly.
protected by the Whistleblower Act.
So, yes. So reporters are no longer allowed to try to press members of the Pentagon for quote-unquote classified information. But that's literally what Pentagon reporting and most of a ton of DC reporting has always been. That's literally their job. So for me, it's like, hey, Pete Hegseth, you fucking idiot. Maybe make sure that the people that work for you don't give out the classified information that they're being asked for. How difficult is this?
I think Ronald Reagan's wife said this once. Just say no.
Yeah. And it's like people that are supporting this, I can guarantee you, people within the Pentagon that are supporting this, I can guarantee you have passed on some form of classified information to a reporter at some point throughout their career. I can almost guarantee that that's the case.
Either on accident or on purpose.
It's just like, we need to cover for the idiots that work for us. So it's now illegal to quote unquote solicit criminal acts. And so what happened? I don't often give the mainstream press credit because they often don't deserve it, but they're going to get it today.
Hey, Pete Hegseth.
Life isn't about getting drunk and eating chicken fingers all the time, all right?
For him it is. But the entire press corps, other than OAN, decided not to sign this thing.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, decided not to sign this thing, turned in their badges, and walked out. That's the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do in this situation. Getting the American people the truth about what's going on inside the Pentagon, or their perceived truth, whatever it is. We know that a lot of these mainstream media outlets take these things and twist them however they want them to sound for whatever reason and for whomever is above them that is making them do so. I understand that. But just like the optics of being able to get prudent classified information or just regular old truth out to the American people is something that is remarkably important. I don't care if you're talking about, the New York Post or whether you're talking about WAPO or whoever the hell you're talking about. They should be able to press for this information, and it's up to the Pentagon to not deliver that information if it's legitimately classified. This shouldn't be that difficult.
I know. Yeah, it sounds like an internal problem.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, our Pentagon sucks balls, so we're just gonna violate the First Amendment.
What's
to
the
fix
press
it.
gonna do now? Just wait outside in the smoking area? Like, ooh.
I don't know, man. I mean, I really hope
they're not gonna be in the lobby anymore.
I really hope that it's not performative. That's kind of my fear. Like, I hope this is legit. This walkout is legit. I hope it's not performative.
One of the big things that I was thinking about that too, and the fact that it's like, if I was in that position and I was the press, like I wouldn't, and even though I was completely against the paperwork, I would still want to at least be present there and try to press for information. But it sounds like they're trying to get them to sign like a CA or
some sort of an agreement.
Yeah,
some sort of an agreement. Yeah.
A contract of disclosure agreement, a CDA or whatever it's called. And it's like, if you don't sign it and then you try to show up and see what happens, or you wait outside in the parking lot for people to come out and you just like do the Charlie Duff thing and you rush them. I feel like you're getting less legal trouble with that than you do if you sign a document and then pushed against it. And then they could be like, well, you signed this paperwork. Because if you sign a contract.
Yeah, and I think that's why they don't want to do it. And I mean, not to even just from like a really shallow perspective. Like, imagine being a Pentagon reporter or a reporter at the White House or wherever it is, and you have to sign one of these agreements that says you can't ask certain questions. How boring of a job would you have now? Like, what am I supposed to? Oh, we're just gonna wait in the press room for somebody to come talk to us,
right? And then we just have to can't ask the questions we want to ask, which most of them don't anyways. OAN's like. Well, we just listen. We're all right. You want to find out which one is Project Mockingjay or Mockingbird, and is it full of CIA ops as a fucking reporting agency? Look at the one that is like, yeah, that's fine. We'll sign it.
It's like
the fucking OAN. It's
just
probably
imagine what
full
OAN
of CIA agents. I wonder if you could find info on that. I wonder how many people who used to be in the CIA work for OAN.
I don't know. It's. What I would say is this: like, do you think One America News would be signing this paperwork if Biden's Defense Department had put this through?
Fuck no,
absolutely not. Now, would some of the others have done it? Would
absolutely
like WAPO have done it? They probably
New York
would have.
Times, WAPO, CNN, NPR.
That's why I look at this and I go, I really hope this isn't performative, right? Because we talk on this show all the time about one of the big issues with so many media outlets is the fact that they'll make all these sorts of concessions and fail to report things or change things around in order to maintain their access to the power broker gala. And so that's my concern. Are they going to come crawling back and sign this thing like tomorrow? Or before we take the air next week? I don't know. I hope they don't. I really hope they don't.
Show up like George Costanza when he quit his job. And he's like, I was just kidding. Come on, it was a joke.
Well, they don't
you believe that? You're crazy.
Not a good look for Pete Hegseth at all.
I don't think there's been very many good looks for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much right. Like that's what's funny to me is like you have this stuff going on, with peace agreements or ceasefires in Gaza. You have Trump calling for the end of the Ukraine war. You have the end of Trump ending the brief little skirmish between India and Pakistan. And like, where was Pete Hegseth during all of this? Don't you think the Secretary of Defense, or in this administration's case, the Secretary of War, should be involved in some way? Even though I realize these are conflicts that the United States aren't like directly in a hot war with our own troops, but don't you think that like he should be involved? Like, he just seems like he's just this figurehead with pretty hair who does things like calls generals back to tell you no homos in the army anymore, or whatever the hell that was about. He just seems like such a performative figure, which would make sense because he's a TV guy. I don't know. You got any closing thoughts on this one?
No.
That's the right answer.
Dope.
We had hostages released from Gaza
Dude,
early
you want to
Monday
talk
morning.
about the quiet part being said out loud. There's multiple quiet things being said out loud in this whole scenario.
With the hostage release, or just
Yes.
the entire Gaza-Israel situation in general?
Specifically the ceasefire.
Sure.
So go ahead and lay out the groundwork, and then we'll circle
Sure.
back to this.
So, hostages released early Monday morning, and kind of something that we expected last week when we talked about this situation, which was, where is Israel going to find their place to justify violating this ceasefire? Now, as we sit here and talk on Wednesday, October 15th at a little after 9 p.m., that hasn't happened, at least on an official scale. There have been reports from both sides of each side violating this ceasefire without very much confirmation on anything just yet. But you saw it early on. So Israel is now threatening to cut off half of the aid to Gaza following the ceasefire. For what, you might ask? The answer to that question is, and I don't mean to sound crude here, but I'm going to just call it what it is, over dead bodies. Israel has decided that live bodies are less important than dead bodies. And I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to be an asshole here. Listen,
No,
Israelis,
that's exactly what it is.
But Israelis that lost their loved ones, absolutely, get those bodies back to them. They're human beings. Allow them to grieve and bury their dead as you would hope that any good human being would allow following something like this. The problem with this is Israel knew prior to the ceasefire that Hamas was going to have issues getting, I think it's 28 deceased hostages back. Why you might ask? Well, I don't know if you've seen pictures or video of the Gaza Strip in the last 5 years. Or 5 years. It hasn't been that long yet. 3 years. Or 2 years. God, it feels like it's been 5 years, doesn't it?
Yeah.
2 years. But it basically looks like a 1990s cable porn station static. Like, that's what it looks like when you look at the ground.
Yeah, you just can't really make out
static.
anything.
It looks like a static channel. And CNN reported...
That's just from the footage that's been out, because Israel's had a complete, blackout on...
It's like, yeah, I can't imagine why they're having a hard time keeping track of corpses when everything around them is being incinerated by Israeli bombs. And so this is one of those where it leads you to believe that, there's Israel's first pretext. There's the first thing they're going to use. They didn't give us our dead bodies back. When Hamas is, I'm no fan of Hamas, but they've held to their end of this bargain, and they even told you it might be difficult to get you all of your deceased hostages back in the amount of time that you want them back. And here's why. And it should be pretty obvious to you.
This isn't, exactly. Hamas is still, not a good alternative. They're dog shit. It's literally a lawless area with a bunch of just factions and gangs and different mafioso people trying to just run it. Basically warlords just taking their plots of land. Just recently, look what was happening. Hamas was shooting people in the street or whatever. Everyone's like, oh, they already broke the ceasefire. It's like, well, no, they didn't. They didn't shoot at Israelis. They were shooting other people of the Bang Mush or the Dog Mush. The dog. I don't even know if I'm saying it right.
You probably not.
But it's
that's
spelled
okay.
It's spelled DOJHMUSH. It's just another faction that doesn't get along with Hamas.
Yeah, it's
area.
almost like when you turn.
It's essentially the Crips and the Bloods just beefing in the street.
When do we begin to understand this? What happens when, whether it's the United States, whether it's Israel, whatever Western nation or Western coalition leaves a war-torn place in our lifetimes that's mostly been in the Middle East, what happens? Whether it's just a short ceasefire, hopefully this is a long one, hopefully it's a lasting peace. I'm not confident that that's going to be the case, but hopefully it is.
God, you sure hope
when you
so,
leave
right?
when you leave a war-torn zone, what happens next? And it happens every single time. Warring factions, warlords come in, everybody fights over power. So it's like, is it disgusting that you're seeing Hamas militants execute people in the street? Yeah, it's gross. I don't like it. Not a fan of it.
We shouldn't even be seeing that.
Am I surprised that it's taking
media.
place? Am I surprised that it's taking place? No. This happens every time. Happens every time you leave a war-torn place. It's the reason. It's one of the reasons the Taliban came to power. It's one of the reasons ISIS came to power. It's one of the reasons that, just name your quote-unquote terrorist group
it's the reason
came
why
to power anywhere in the Middle East.
It's the reason why one of our leading military commanders was essentially grabbing ass with an Al-Qaeda leader who is now in charge of one of those countries that was warred out and had factions in it fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So
you have both sides accusing one another of a violation of the ceasefire. Corey, you brought up the first example that we've kind of debunked a little bit, which is that Hamas was doing public executions after.
Well, they were
ceasefire
doing
agreement.
public executions. Don't get it wrong.
Right, but not
Savagery.
as a violation of the ceasefire.
And a bunch of
right?
people and a bunch of Palestinian leaders were saying this needs to be unequivocally rebuked, and all these a bunch of agencies and stuff came out and said this isn't right. This shouldn't be done. This shouldn't be the norm. But the idea of dead Israelis in rubble, where one would assume that they're dead because of a building falling on top of them, like the Wicked Witch of the East and fucking Wizard of Oz, as being their cause of death. Kind of saying the quiet part out loud that the reason why there's 28 dead Israelis is because of the fact that Israel was just indiscriminately carpet bombing an entire couple block radius, or how many square miles it is. I know it's small.
To switch it around, even if Hamas did kill those hostages, the reasons why their bodies might be left behind and lost is
because the buildings fell on top of them, right? And Hamas, on their end, one of their spokesperson, or I guess not even a spokesperson, this quote I got, it just says Hamas said in a statement, just Hamas said it. It's not an individual, it's not a spokesperson, but they said, as for the remaining corpses, it requires extensive efforts and special equipment for their retrieval and extraction. We are exerting great effort in order to close this file. Sounds like they're trying to get to the bodies, but when you're using bunker busters and you have a 10-story building falling on top of someone who's in the basement of it, it's going to take a fucking minute. It's going to take a minute to get to that body.
Yeah.
Look how long it took us to get the bodies in 9/11.
Dude, and what's funny about the whole thing is it doesn't even matter. We're absolutely, you and I are absolutely going to be accused just by pointing out this reality of being lovers of Hamas, because that's where people always go when there's entirely more nuance to the situation. But what I will say about the public executions is, where is the war is hell crowd on this one? You remember when the attack on Gaza first started? And I'm not talking about sending in IDF officers to get their hostages back and try to man-to-man take out Hamas. I'm talking about the indiscriminate bombing of a people of around 2 million, where they just went, well, civilians got to die. War is hell. Where's the war is hell crowd when it comes to the public executions that Hamas is conducting against their own people, realistically, in the streets of Gaza right now? Well, war is hell. Aren't we just supposed to dismiss these things? Post-war is hell. It doesn't really matter. You know,
Yeah,
you
'cause on
gotta
paper it says
you gotta
ceasefire,
crack
so
a
everyone
couple eggs
expects
to make
this.
an omelet, Corey.
Well, on paper it's ceasefire, so all of the violence through the 4th, 5th, 6th order of consequences aren't supposed to happen. It's ceasefire. It's on paper. It's what the news said. It's over. That's it. How dare they do this? It was supposed to be stopped. Didn't they watch the news?
Didn't you watch?
And remember when I made the
or
joke
Mark
about this whole
Levin?
idea of some arbitrary date where they're like, all right, I guess we'll stop shooting each other on Sunday. It's a fucking joke. And the idea that it all just ends, all of the brutality, all of the nastiness, Liberty Twitcher just used the word savagery. That's like, you think all that just stops when this savagery has been going on now for decades, and this ridiculous tit for tat, like everyone's like, oh well, October 7th. It's like, yeah, but go ahead and look up footage of how IDF soldiers are treating Palestinian citizens for decades. Now, neither one of those is an excuse for the reaction from either side. Both sides are at fault in leading up to the pinnacle of all of this. Both sides have been poking and prodding and throwing rocks or shooting each other like over this shit. Like, both sides are fucking each other up, and it needs to fucking stop. I don't know how to solve it. At this point, there's so much bad blood that it's like neither of them trust each other. They don't trust each other at all. Like, look how they're itching. Both sides are just itching at someone to make a stupid misstep in this ceasefire so they can just counterpunch each other again. And Hamas is salivating at the bits to try to kill some Israelis, just like IDF is salivating at the bits just trying to go and kill some more Hamas people. And it's like both sides, like, you watch videos and there's Israeli kids singing about killing Palestinians, and then you watch videos and then there's Palestinian kids singing about killing Jewish people. It's this bad blood war of just nastiness, and both sides are at fault with all of it. And I don't think anyone would ever be able to convince me otherwise. There's the what's the fallacy, recency fallacy or recency bias? Yeah. The recent one was really fucking bad, and Hamas really exposed themselves as not the good guys for what they did. But Israel's
100%.
response wasn't the response of a good guy either.
And you could also argue that Hamas kind of exposed themselves with these public executions in the streets that have made their way through Twitter. Like, nobody's claiming that Hamas is good people. However, when you put the onus on anyone, I'm always going to put more of the onus on Israel. Why? Because Israel's the powerful nation. Israel's the nation that has Western backing. Israel is the nation that has propped up Hamas since 2005, because Netanyahu said it himself. In order to stop a two-state solution, we have to make sure Hamas is in power, because if Hamas is in power, now we have an excuse essentially to do whatever we want.
Yeah, because then there's all that whole caveat, right? They were put in power in 2005, and they haven't held an election since. Okay. And the average age in Israel is in Gaza is 22 or 23. So Hamas was put in power before these people could even fucking vote. They've never had an option to vote for anyone else. They've never had an option to even hold an election. And then everyone goes, well, why'd they put him into power? That'd be like someone coming to me or you, or, like fucking Osama bin Laden's letter talking about why he's attacking America. And a bunch of young people died it. And it's like, it's not their fucking fault, you doofus. You know what I mean? Or it's like, or trying to blame you or I. Like, if Japan was all of a sudden got a stick in their ass and they're like, you guys fucked us up when this happened. And then like everyone who has any sort of power wasn't even alive then. It's like, the fuck? Like, how are you going to blame them for something that they weren't even alive or they were 1 or 2 years old for? Like, come on.
Because I think the answer to that question is really simple. It's so easy to just otherize people.
You just dehumanize them.
It's just those others over there. It's a
psychological thing. No, if there's
like word association.
There's word association with different things that like you equate in your mind to like smells and tastes and feelings of like disgust and so that, and so like words like wretched, words like what's another good one? You know, like disgust and things like
Cunty.
that. Yeah, there you go, cunty. Those words associate and get related to personal things that happened in your life that you associate those with words with personally. And they use these words and they use them on other people. And then subconsciously you'll associate them with that feeling in your stomach when when you accidentally drink out of a beer bottle that you thought was beer, but it had two or three cigarettes that were put out in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can tell you this, Corey. The propaganda machine, the Zionist
Liberty Twitcher goes, well, I'm blamed all the time for slavery. You are too. Nah, I'm Irish. My ancestors were probably slaves as well.
I mean, collectively, maybe we are, but I don't think anybody's ever looked at me and blamed me personally for slavery. But collectively,
the only time I've ever been called racist was by another white person. So
can't take that seriously.
I love when people try to tell me my descendants own slaves. Like my family came here like 100 years ago, bro.
Yeah. My family was dealing with a potato famine and being also extorted and put into enslavement by the British. Right. And then they fled the country and came here in like the 1900s.
By the
and then my other
family
side
and the power
fought
brokers.
for the North. My whole family's on the right side of history, so it's like,
oh sure. Oh no, some of them voted for Trump, Corey. So the Zionist propaganda arm is already planting its seeds that Hamas is quote unquote reneging on laying down arms and giving up power. Here's the problem with that.
Like,
everybody knows what the
really
term
enunciate
renege
the
means.
E in reneging.
If you don't know what that means,
yeah,
you probably shouldn't be listening to the show.
Right.
The problem with that statement, though, is that Hamas hasn't agreed to lay down arms and give up power. That was not part of the first part of this, that whatever it is, this stage 1 of this ceasefire. That is included in stage 2, which is still yet to be negotiated. So we're already memory holing what the first stage of this ceasefire even was supposed to be. They never agreed to that. Those negotiations are scheduled for phase 2. But it's already out there. Netanyahu said it. Trump said they're going to give up power, or we're going to force them to give up power. Like, what do you mean? That's exactly what you guys. That's exactly what the Israelis have been trying to do for the past 2 years. And you are never going to take out Hamas through warfare. You are only going to take them. You are only going to take out Hamas through negotiations. When has any Western army in the last? You can go back at least to Vietnam. When has any Western army ever taken out its whatever you want to call them, it's tribalist, warlording enemy through warfare? When has it worked? I'll wait.
I can't think. I was thinking of a joke about Chicago or something, but not even there.
And to the extent that it has worked, you want to say that you've mostly eliminated ISIS. Okay. Something else always comes in and fills that void. So what could possibly come in and fill that void for Hamas? Well, the answer is Israel could just take over the Gaza Strip. That's one answer. That's an answer that more than half the world at this point doesn't support. But that is one answer. That is one solution. But if you think you're going to eliminate Hamas through warfare, it's never going to happen.
It won't happen.
This shit does
because
not work.
When you're indiscriminately bombing a whole area and you kill some 8 or 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11, 12-year-old kids, fucking parents in front of him, and he has nowhere to go, and all of a sudden some guys roll up in a Toyota pickup, and they have guns and they go those guys just killed your family and you have no idea why either. Same happened to us. Hop on here. We're going to do our best to try to get back at them for it. Like, vengeance is a hell of a drug. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
the General Petraeus.
It was General Stanley McChrystal coined the phrase insurgent math. What is insurgent math? Insurgent math is, what's 10 minus 2? The normal answer is 8. No, not in insurgent math. In insurgent math, 10 minus 2 equals 20. You take out 2, you create 10 more for each one that you've eliminated. It doesn't matter what their ideology is and what your disagreements with them are or how much you hate them. That doesn't matter. That's insurgent math. And that's
right. We all, like everyone in America,
highly decorated general in the United States military.
Everyone in America is over here relating to John Wick because they're like, oh yeah, if someone took out my family like that, I'd go on a vengeance path too. But then not understand and equating it to real life, like, oh, that's what I would do. But then when brown people over in Gaza do it, like, oh, well, that's a terrorist. I would never do that. It's like, what the fuck are you even saying? Like, you would. Everyone absolutely would. It's just like everyone just would, when they're like, oh, if Hitler was in power, I definitely wouldn't be a Nazi. It's like, no, you probably would.
Yeah, you probably would. Were you wearing a mask and demanding that everybody get the vaccine, or you're a grandma killer? Because if you were one of those people, you probably would have supported the Nazi Party in the
propaganda is a hell of a fucking drug.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, you probably would have. Yeah. So,
and then also going off on a tangent here, okay? And if you are against it,
not a tangent.
And if you are against it, by all means, like, I'm all for you being against something and you see something as a threat and trying to use like the constitutional rights that we're afforded to go and like try to combat it. And by all means, do a peaceful protest, but quit fucking stop letting it end there, or quit letting it end there. Like,
I
quit
thought you were going to say, I thought you were going to say, but please stop blocking traffic.
Oh, no. Even that, like, the protest is to garner attention. But you dumb fucks are protesting, and then you're going home and just posting the pictures you took from the protest, and then you're hopping on your video games, or you're door dashing, or you're going and watching Netflix. It ain't doing shit. What you got to do, the protest is to garner attention to something. You still got to do the fucking legwork after. Start a ballot initiative. Go and help get petitions signed. Volunteer to get either the party that you're interested in to try to get them to get out and get people to vote and things like that. Like, you still have to do the civil work, but no one's fucking doing that. And like, that's the point where I'm at now with protests. I'm still for protesting, but no one's doing the fucking legwork that is involved around it. And it's just fucking annoying. And all it does is it looks performative to me. And I'm someone who agrees with a lot of the causes that people are out there protesting for. And I'm all down for some civil disturbance. And I'm all down trying to put threat to the power of the boot that's on our head that we call the American government. But you got to do the rest of it. You can't just show up to class and take just the tests and not do the fucking homework. Like, Jesus Christ. And the leaders are the ones who are failing us the most on this shit, because they're the ones that are supposed to be getting you to do this shit. But they like the way it's going too. It's just, if they can get you fired up, they get your fucking vote.
If they go to if they go to an auto workers strike, why are they doing that? They're doing it to get the vote of the auto workers. That's what they're doing it for.
Well, I'm talking about the people. And on an auto workers strike that is a protest, there is a means to an end, because behind the scenes there is
no. I'm talking about politicians, because you had mentioned politicians, our leaders. Like, when our leaders
let us down because they're the ones that try to get everyone to get out and protest, but they don't tell them to get ballot initiatives, and they don't tell them to do that because that's a threat to their seat and a threat to their power. Because of the people, like 20,000 people at a protest. Yeah, that's going to gather everyone's attention. But then if 1% of them, which would be what, 200 people, go out and volunteer and go and get petitions signed for a ballot initiative to do something that would help fight this, or help do something to get legislation, like a ballot initiative to get legislation to get your representative to share it in the House and stuff like that. That's how progress gets done. Do you think Martin Luther King was only out there doing the Million Man March? No, they were also going out there and they were also out there stump speeching, and they were also out there doing fucking trying to get ballot initiatives and getting everyone to the voting box. They were doing all of the work behind the scenes too. But no one wants to do the work behind the scenes. Guess why? Because that doesn't get fucking clicks.
Yeah. You're not going to put somebody signing a signature of a ballot initiative on your fucking TikTok. That's not very entertaining. Right. Nobody's going to watch that.
No, I don't like seeing this. It's the button people are going to click. But that doesn't fucking matter. It's the unseen work is what actually gets shit done. It's not the protest. And that part's not getting done. And the leaders of either party who is trying to promote these protests are failing their constituents by not telling them that part.
I don't know. I would argue that, I guess going back to the topic we were on, kind of fitting your rant with that. I
got myself pissed off thinking about it.
I would argue that a lot of the important global PR about Israel has changed because of protests and because of people telling the truth about what this nation's actually responsible for. Not this nation. I shouldn't say that. Let me rephrase. This government, this state government of Israel is responsible for. Which leads me to this next thing. I don't know if you saw this video. Bell, pull up the Ben Shapiro video.
Oh, that's the other quiet part.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw this, but Ben Shapiro decided to take to his show a few days ago and call out all of the what he would. I'm sure what he would say is the pro-Hamas.
Oh, and Trump was actually also the execution. Real quick, I want to get to this. I'm going back to this because this is some pretty good context, because Trump seems to be okay with it himself, because he is quoted as saying they want to stop the problems. They've been open about it, and we gave them approval for a period of time. So Trump knows that they're over there shooting each other. He's like, yeah, we told them they could.
Very good. Well done, guys. But Ben Shapiro wanted to go off on this rant about how people that I'm sure he would call like Hamas lovers or pro-Hamas people, which nobody actually is. He wants to call them out for
some crazy liberals out there that are like,
sure, yeah, okay, I shouldn't say nobody. But he wants to know why nobody is celebrating the ceasefire. And a lot of the Zionists are asking this question. Why is nobody celebrating the ceasefire? My answer is very, very simple. You generally don't celebrate the ass end of a genocide. You generally, like, that would be like if there was like a school shooting. The school shooting's going on for like an hour, and the police or SWAT or whatever is able to negotiate an end to this shooting and get the shooter to stop. Whether that's through actually taking him out or
and everyone's celebrating them.
And everybody goes, yeah, the shooting's over. Woohoo! Like, what are you talking about, you asshat? Go ahead and play the video, Bell.
In the West, there's a huge block of people who are luxury belief terrorists who have been supporting terrorism for 2 years and more out of a luxurious belief that it will never affect them and that they somehow gain the moral high ground by supporting terrorism. On the anniversary of October 7th, which was a grave day in Israel, and again, for many people all around the world, actually, there are a bunch of protests that took place all over the world in favor of Hamas as the president was trying to negotiate a ceasefire. Now, by the way, you've seen no Palestinians or advocates for the Palestinians abroad celebrating President Trump's ceasefire.
Yes, you have.
None. Zero. They don't exist. They all disappeared. Now, I'm not sure if I've ever heard of a genocide in world history in which the supposed victims of the genocide don't celebrate when it ends. Right? That's kind of telling, is it not? Shouldn't there be hundreds of thousands of people in the streets celebrating Donald Trump for ending the war, for getting to a ceasefire, for stopping the carnage? Shouldn't they be celebrating? But they're not. Where are they? Why did they disappear? Because they didn't give a the entire time about the Palestinians. They didn't care about them at all. It was all just a weapon against Israel. Because if they were truly concerned about the cost of war, they would be happy when it ends. Instead, they were protesting for the war to effectively continue on October 7th. Here was ABC News admitting that there was violence at pro-Palestinian protests on the second anniversary of October 7th. This is ABC's Good Morning America.
Demonstrators mark 2 years of war since the October 7th Hamas attack on Israel. And in Boston, there were clashes with police. Boston police said 13 pro-Palestinian demonstrators were arrested. Several officers were injured. A march from Boston Common called Students for Justice in Palestine spilled into the street there, blocking traffic. The crowd waving Palestinian flags, throwing red-colored powder into the air. Police said protesters turned on them, kicking a marked cruiser, setting off smoke flares and assaulting officers, 2 of them taken to the hospital with broken bones. Police used bikes to block the crowd and were seen arresting demonstrators on the ground. Here in New York, 2 protesters were arrested outside the Israeli consulate. Elsewhere in the city, dueling protests, one accusing Israel of loving war, another calling to release the hostages, chanted back and forth.
Okay, so again, notice those 2 contrasting messages at the very end. One says, Israel loves war, and one is, release our hostages.
Yeah, both can be true,
the
Ben.
moral imbalance there is
Idiot.
pretty amazing. And who are these people? They're a bunch of left-wing scavengers, college students with sociology degrees who have decided they're going to stand with terrorism and stand with evil because their civilization is to blame for all the problems on Earth. This is why you had protesters on October 7th shouting, globalize the Intifada.
It's just absolutely unreal. Nothing he said there it proves anything.
All I did was type on TikTok, who is about to be owned by
Larry Ellison.
Larry Ellison, who is a huge proponent for the state of Israel and spends a lot of money.
Number 1 donor to the IDF.
Yeah. So on his app, I typed in Palestinians celebrate ceasefire, and there's just hundreds of videos.
That's the whole thing about
hundreds and hundreds of videos.
The ending of a genocide, right? It's not, again, a lot like the school shooting analogy I just gave you. When it's
a video
over,
of Jake Paul celebrating it. I don't know why the fuck. It's got to be AI.
But when it's over,
an AI video.
It probably is. When it's over, you don't jump for joy over the carnage that you've just witnessed. What you might do is give a sigh of relief. Oh, thank God that's over.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because you hear everyone, like when you ask anyone, everyone says they're cautiously optimistic.
Exactly.
But when Israel
that's another point that Ben misses.
Yeah, and when Israel has broken, how many ceasefires has there been so far?
Well, they broke one just in January, not that long ago.
Yeah.
The very first one that Trump asked Netanyahu to put off so that he could get credit for it instead of Biden.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm butchering the details of that.
And then there was a ceasefire, I
basically
think,
what
with the Houthis in Iran and America. Israel was fucking around with that one. And then Israel was doing drone strikes on some of the ambassadors from the Palestinian area who were trying to work with the ceasefire. Like, yeah. It seems like there's a bad faith actor in this, and I'm not giving either one any sort of credence, but
like Ben just doesn't even know what he's talking about. Like, sure, are the protesters out there like mostly leftist? Probably. We all know leftists like to, especially lefty college kids, like to take to the streets and protest, and then, as you said,
fuck
Corey,
you,
go
Dad,
back.
and they kick a car.
Yep, and then as you said, Corey, go back and play their video games and order their DoorDash. However, if you think it's like, does Ben Shapiro really still believe that it is only people on the left that are turning on Israel? Did we not just have the Charlie Kirk conversation? Did we not just discuss how there's pretty solid evidence that even he was about to turn away from the Israel lobby and turn away from the pro-Israel crowd? I mean,
Thomas Massey, MTG,
Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene,
some of the big talking heads on the right, Joe Rogan, fucking Dave Smith, a lot of people. You could keep going, right? Theo Vaughn,
Tucker Carlson. How about Tucker Carlson?
Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, but sure, but sure, Ben, it's just goofy lefty college students that want to globalize the Intifada. That's it. He just, I don't know if he really believes this stuff, or if he's I don't know if he's like 99% propagandist, or if he's just like, if he's 100% propagandist.
$7,000, man. Every time you say it.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, So fuck Ben Shapiro.
So the other quiet part out loud I want to mention, since we're still on the Israel ceasefire topic. Israel has told the UN that the expected number of aid trucks allowed into Gaza will be reduced or delayed due to Hamas's slow release of hostages remains.
Right.
Humanitarian groups urging for much needed supplies into Gaza. So he's saying the quiet part out loud, but basically saying that he has always been controlling the aid into Gaza. And so the fact that there was an absolute lack of aid into this country, he's implying that it was controlled by Israel.
And that's a great point too, Corey. But to add to that, to add to your point, that is an open admission of a war crime. That is an open admission of committing a war crime. You cannot, according to international law, you cannot punish an entire civilian population because the people that you're at war with aren't doing exactly what you want, how you want them to do it, and when you want them to do it.
Because the people aren't making the fucking rules or the choices.
But that's why they always do this thing, right? That's why the Israel crowd always does this thing where it's just like, well, yeah, they don't ever like people like Netanyahu are smart enough not to say these exact words, but it's always this idea of, well, yeah, but they're all Hamas, so it doesn't matter. Like that's how it's always played off. A reporter that's inside Gaza reporting that we killed, right, or that the Israelis killed. Yeah, he was Hamas anyway. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
What defines Hamas at this point?
I don't know.
If everyone who is against what the Israeli state is doing to the Palestinians, I guess we're all just Hamas, right? Like it's reaching that point where it's like, you're going to call me Hamas. You're going to call me a Hamas supporter. You're going to call me an anti-Semite. You know, it's like, okay, whatever. I guess I'm just going to take that moniker because you've made it meaningless now. It's the same thing that the woke crowd did to terms like racist. Right? Anybody who's like not for getting a vaccine is a racist. Okay, I guess that makes me a racist. You know what I mean? Like it's just these terms and phrases, they don't mean anything anymore. There was a time not that long ago where like being called a racist or being called an anti-Semite or being called a terrorist supporter, not that long ago in my life, I would have been terrified of being called those things. Now, if sticking with my principles of being anti-war somehow makes me somebody that's pro quote unquote terrorist, okay,
right.
I guess that's what I am then.
Yeah.
Do I sit here and fight it? Do you sit here and fight it? No. What's the point?
I tried once.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Once those opinions have been created of you, that's it. You're done.
Yeah. Once you get othered, there's no. Yeah, it's tough to come back from.
Trump did a wonderful job of saying the quiet part out loud. Donald J. Trump, your president, Corey, president of the United States of America, giving a speech in Israel.
I think it's a very rude introduction.
Yep, sorry. I do apologize, Mr. President. Saying
You're
the quiet
fired.
Part out loud,
Get out of here.
As he often does. So the video that Bell's about to play has a couple of different interpretations. One is that he is absolutely calling out Miriam Adelson here, who is who's the wife of the late Sheldon Adelson, one of Trump's biggest donors, one of the people that is suspected of, quote unquote, controlling Trump over the Israel situation because she does give so much money to his campaign. Wants the West Bank annexed by Israel, which many of us believe is the next step here. Hopefully not. I hope to be wrong about that. But some people are saying that Trump has maybe had enough of her bullshit and is calling her out openly here. The other interpretation of this is that this is just Trump being strongman Trump and trying to be the most powerful man in the room and trying to make everyone aware that he's the one in charge. And, I was just doing some quote unquote charity work for Miriam Adelson and everything that I've done for Israel. Look what I've done for her. Aren't I so great? So I'll let you decide as a listener, if you haven't heard or seen this yet, what your interpretation of this video is. Go ahead and roll it, Bill.
Broken promises from many other American presidents, you know that. They kept promising. I never understood it until I got there. There was a lot of pressure put on these presidents. It was put on me too, but I didn't yield to the pressure. But every president for decades said, we're going to do it. The difference is I kept my promise and officially recognized the capital of Israel and moved the American embassy to Jerusalem. Isn't that right, Miriam? Look at Miriam. She's back there. Stand up, Miriam. Stand up. Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. They'd call me. He'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I can think of. Look at her sitting there so innocently. She's got $60 billion in the bank. $60 billion. And she loves, I think she's saying no more. And she loves Israel, but she loves it, and they would come in, and her husband was a very aggressive man, but I loved him. He was a very aggressive, very supportive of me. And he'd call up, can I come over and see you? I say, Sheldon, I'm the president of the United States. It doesn't work that way. He'd come in and we would do. But they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen to Israel. Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country. She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once. I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you, darling, for being here. That's a great honor. Great honor. She's a wonderful woman. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Ew, gross.
I don't know. What's your interpretation, Corey? What I will say this, before you answer my question, what I will say is this. That is absolutely Trump saying the quiet part out loud. Oh, Sheldon and Miriam were the visiting the White House all the time, more than anybody else.
Right.
You know, the top. I should make a correction, by the way. I said Larry Ellison was the top donor to the IDF. I confused him with Sheldon Adelson, so I do apologize. Let me make that correction, because it was Sheldon Adelson that was a top donor to the IDF. One of the things that he said in his lifetime was that one of his biggest regrets was wearing the United States military uniform and not the IDF uniform.
I don't know. It's interesting with all of it, right? It's you know, and it might be a little tinfoil hat-y of where I'm going with all of this, because like, I'm just trying to think of all the context of everything and like everything grouped together about like from all the different angles of what leads up to like this moment where Trump seems like he's in there cocky as shit, telling the Jews, telling Jesus, but like telling Israel,
execute
like,
order 66.
like the way he's responding to him and like how it's gone back and forth. You know, like you have the Epstein file shit really, really ramping up. And it seems like every time the Epstein file shit's really, really ramping up, Trump is kind of taking a back seat to Israel's moves over there. But every time it kind of subsides, it kind of seems like he's acting like this, because the last time it subsided, when it wasn't really that big of a deal, that's when we have that audio of
They
Trump.
don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Remember, he's talking about Hamas and or Iran and Israel in that moment. And that's when he's like, these guys are fucking idiots, basically. But then all of a sudden he takes a back seat and lets shit pop off, and then he still succumbs and still strikes Iran and stuff like that. But then there's a moment of cockiness like here. So it's like, it feels like there's a vibe shift right now. I don't know how long it'll last, but it seems like there's a lot of shit happening behind the scenes that we're just not sure.
You want to see the APAC propaganda commercial?
Yes.
Go ahead and pull that up, Bill. This is so bad.
But do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. I get. That's what I mean. Like, that's why I think it's. That's why I think it's so open for interpretation. Like, was that him saying, "Hey, fuck you, Miriam"? Like, I did all this for you, and everybody in the world's gonna know that now, or was that Trump being the strong man and just accidentally saying the quiet part out loud to make himself look good in front of a crowd? I don't know.
It might be the quiet part out loud. He does that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he does that all the time. Let's see this this new APAC propaganda,
which is irritating, but we also love him the most for it.
It's one of my favorite things about him.
Right.
That he accidentally says the quiet part out loud.
Because that's just it. Like, remember, all the shit he's doing is shit that Democrats did or previous Republican presidents did. This motherfucker right now is a goddamn pinko. I shared an article with you guys. We didn't really talk about it, but Trump's administration right now is now wanting to put a price floor on an industry for minerals. He's literally talking about the government's hand on deciding what the price will be in the market for something.
Price controls.
That's fucking communism.
Well, they don't view it as communism because we're just saying you can't sell it for less than this. Communism would only be if you're trying to sell it for, if you can't sell it for more than a certain price. Now, you and I both know that it's just the same fucking thing at the other end of the spectrum. So a price control that doesn't allow you to sell something for higher than a certain price, what does that do? Well, it lowers demand because nobody wants to make it.
It's still the exact opposite of a laissez-faire market society. Like,
so the other way around,
it would be if you can't even think of the person. It's Marxism.
Right. If you put a price floor on something, instead of like putting a price cap on something, reduces supply because it's not profitable to make the thing anymore. Putting a price floor on something does the exact opposite. It reduces demand.
Yeah. Because now there's going to be people that can't afford it because you're making it a certain price that were used to purchasing it at that price before.
Correct.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll the APAC propaganda video, Bell. This is so good.
It's not going to help inflation.
Let's talk about APAC.
Today, APAC.
On Capitol Hill, APAC.
APAC.
You may have heard our name, but how much do you really know about APAC? APAC is an American organization that works to strengthen the U.S.-Israel relationship. This partnership advances America's interests and democratic values and helps keep Israel safe. Our 5 million members are U.S. citizens, Democrats and Republicans from every part of the country who urge our elected leaders to enact pro-Israel policies. This includes expanding America's defense partnership with Israel, supporting life-saving security assistance, confronting Iran and its terror proxies,
The biggest load that we've seen.
and promoting peace and normalization. Being pro-Israel is good policy, and APAC members make sure it's good politics, too.
Ew, gross.
We raise money to help elect pro-Israel candidates for Congress from both parties.
Oh,
And
both
we
sides.
take the political fight to our opponents, helping defeat anti-Israel candidates running for the House or Senate. APAC is leading the fight in Washington to secure the future of the U.S.-Israel relationship. The actions of pro-Israel Americans today will help determine the future of this bond and the fate of both countries.
Like that part, the fate of both countries. Like, what the fuck? Why? I don't think America's fucking survivability or its prosperity is based on a tiny country in the Middle East. And what's hilarious about all of this, Dan, is when fucking Zelensky tried to say the same shit, because that's another example of Trump saying the quiet part out loud.
Gotta defend democracy.
When they were strong manning Zelensky and everyone was clutching their pearls like, oh my god, to think that shit doesn't happen under other administrations. They just decide not to televise it because Trump for some reason loves to be televised. When Zelensky said, if Russia does this to us, they can do this to everyone else, and they could do it to America. And both Trump and Vance sat up and they're like, you don't know that, but what happens to America is, like, they got fucking pissed. But then Israel makes an ad. I'm sorry, in an American organization makes an ad like that.
Israel makes it. You said it right the first time.
No, the ad doesn't lie, Dan.
Okay. Yep.
It's an American organization that lobbies for a foreign country, yet doesn't have to register for FARA. So just call me crazy, I guess. I don't know.
The biggest load that we've seen.
I'm gonna just quote Dave Smith, who I actually was. His tweet was the first time I saw this video, and he just tweeted it out and said, I just don't think this is going to work. And I got to tell you, I think Dave's right about that. I don't think this is going to work. It's so bad, dude. It's so bad. I mean, it was like, that video may have worked if you could take it from today and like put it on the internet in like 2012. It might have worked. But now there's absolutely no way.
Right.
It's gonna work.
In 2012, you could see that on TV and not know anything about it because there's not the internet, right? Or we can't really look up what APAC is. You don't have that on your fingertips. To where we would see that commercial during like the fucking Super Bowl as like 12-year-olds.
How long ago do you think 2012 was, Corey? Like, we could have looked up what APAC was in 2012.
Yeah, but not 2012. Like, it wasn't like it is now.
You would have gotten the Wikipedia answer of what APAC was back
right.
then. Yes.
Yeah. There wouldn't have been, a bunch of people making videos or like tweeting about it and all of a sudden it trending because there's a Super Bowl commercial type shit like it is now. You'd have seen that commercial and then just been like, oh, that seems nice. and then never gave it a second thought.
Yeah, I think I like Israel. It seems like they have American interests at heart.
Well, that's good. I like Israel. That's where Jesus was born, or where Jerusalem is, or whatever it is. Like, because actually Bethlehem's in Syria, I think, right?
No, Bethlehem's in Israel. It's in the West Bank. I'm almost positive about that. Bell's nodding his head. Yes, it's in the West Bank.
There's a place in Syria that is a prominent city in the Bible.
I'm sure. But Bethlehem is 100% in Israel.
It's in the West Bank, right?
Bank. Yeah,
That's
you're
what I
right.
thought. See, I know my Israeli map. I know what I'm talking about. Ah! Remember, it's not really the West Bank, Corey. It's Judea and Samaria.
Right.
A place that isn't recognized by any international map ever created.
Damascus. That's what I was thinking of.
Is that not the capital of Syria? Is Damascus the capital? See, Bell's not in his head. Yeah, see, I know my Middle Eastern map.
It's not Aleppo, is it?
I don't fucking know. What is Aleppo? I don't know. What else we got? We wanted to talk about. You want to talk about Douglas Murray, or do you want to skip?
Oh, Damascus is like Old Testament shit.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, and then Apostle Paul was blinded by God on his way.
By the way, Damascus is the capital of Syria. See, I know what I'm talking about. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think the Israelis wanted so bad? You want to make fun of? Do you want to make fun of Douglas Murray, or do we want to skip that? We're getting a little long in the tooth. I can sum it up real quick for you. Douglas Murray was busted by Ryan Grimm and his publication for essentially helping the Israelis with their propaganda through leaked emails. This is true. This is verified. You can look it up. And also David Frum. For those who don't remember David Frum, he was the man who wrote speeches for George W. Bush and helped him coin the term. You remember this one? Axis of evil. That's the brainchild. That's the brainchild of David Frum. Also the senior editor of The Atlantic, which is interesting.
You thought I heard that in 2012, I'd be like, oh, that's nice.
So, the next time Douglas Murray wants to propagandize you into believing that he's some sort of objective journalist, you can tell him to fuck right off. No, Douglas, I've never been.
Because Israel didn't pay for my trip.
Right. And dog walk you through all the areas they wanted you to see.
Right. Yeah. Douglas Murray got Tucker Carlson when Tucker Carlson was in Russia. Remember when he was in Russia? And he's like, look at this place. It's clean as shit. Oh my God. Look at this marketplace. I'm just buying some food. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, I've seen my city here, Detroit, clear all the homeless out when any big event's happening, no problem, and clean the place up real nice and be out there as street sweepers and everything. You don't think Russia's going to do that when one of the biggest speaker face, like one of the biggest people that's as influencer in America is coming to visit to talk about this? You don't think we're going to clean up when we have a guest coming? What the fuck?
Well, and Russia's a massive country. Moscow's a massive city. Sure, it has nice areas like downtown Detroit. It's a nice area. If you come to Detroit and all you see is downtown, you're gonna be like, man, this place is actually really nice.
What's all the fuss about?
This place is really great.
Yeah, what's all the fuss
and it's like,
about?
Go fucking 12, 15 blocks north or west or east, and you'll see.
And you see the
where
corruption
the problem is
and the negligence of a city government that's been letting that place decay for 40 years.
But if all you see is downtown, Detroit's beautiful. If all you see is downtown, and don't get me wrong, it's the only place I ever hang out when I go to Detroit is downtown because it is nice. It is safe.
I'm only in the seedy areas when I'm doing seedy things.
Corey picking up his 8 mile hookers.
No,
they're not that many out there anymore. The last few times I've driven down 8 Mile,
they're at 7 Mile now. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know where they are.
I know where they are.
Are they at 6 and Ryan? I don't know where they are anymore. They're not on 8 Mile anymore. You never see them. But that's because 8 Mile borders the next city north, and I think it borders Oakland County.
Yeah.
So there you go.
The smart ladies of the night actually hang out on 8 Mile. And their clientele isn't from the city. It's from the suburbs. and they know they can get more money.
That's right.
I don't know. I know when I was younger, I would see the signs for it. I don't know if they advertise it anymore, but there'd be a ton of hotels on Gratiot. And they would advertise by the hour. And that was north of 8 Mile.
They're on Woodward too.
Yeah, by the hour.
When you get south, when you get south of 8 Mile. Bell, you want to play the?
This is like
you want to play the MTG? You want to get the MTG video ready? What'd you say, Corey?
Yeah, but this is like north of 8 Mile. That's what I'm saying. Like it's suburban nights that are going down.
Yeah, there used to be a bunch of those in like Ferndale when you would go up Woodward.
Yeah. And then it got gentrified.
God damn! Look
now
at
the only ones that survived are Seville and I forget the other one.
Hey, there's our low key
one, right?
Yeah. there's our low key baddie MTG.
Yeah, that's your girl.
She's butterface, man. What can I say?
She's drinking some Chardonnay.
She's a butterface. I think she's drinking water.
Vodka.
That glass is awfully full. She ain't Nancy Pelosi, Corey.
Right.
She's not
gin.
Nancy Pelosi.
I didn't say gin. Nancy
this is
Pelosi
a very
looks like a gin gal.
This is a very short video. When Marjorie Taylor Greene was on the was on with Tim Dillon, and they're discussing deportations. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has taken, first of all, full disclosure, I think she says the right thing. I think she says the right thing here. But there's a huge faction of the MAGA crowd that is turned on her. In fact, I saw what I'm guessing is a MAGA supporting tiny small podcaster on Rumble. I happened to catch a clip of him calling her a quote unquote turncoat. It's just like,
dude.
But by the way, why do
it's so crazy to me? Like, everyone creates these caricatures of politicians and even like artists and musicians, and they create this mold in your head that you see them as like this perfect archetype of whatever you picture this person being. And if you deviate out of it at all, people lose their shit. I've done it, but we're all none of us are innocent. Like, when I had a band that was making good music and then they were trying something different and I didn't like it personally. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You guys completely changed your whole sound. It's the same shit with politicians, you know, and then like they all have this archetype of what this Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, they have her up on the shelf. The book is written. They know what it is. And then all of a sudden this shit happens. And they're like, what? like, it's just hilarious to me because you see people do it on both sides of the aisle. But yeah.
But you ever notice how with so many of these people it never works in the other direction? So here's what I mean. Somebody like MTG, she is somebody that you could probably find audio of us. You could probably go back and download an episode from 2 years ago of us just shitting, dogging on MTG for her terrible policies or making fun of her for like yelling at foreign reporters. That wasn't even that long ago.
Threw an accent in there and like mocked her.
Yeah. But then when she says the right things, whether it be about Israel, whether it be about the Epstein files, or whether it be about this, we can admit that she's getting these things right. I don't know if it's just a matter of her growing up before our eyes. You would think that a 50-something-year-old woman would already be fully grown. But where I give Marjorie Taylor Greene so much credit is that you don't often see, in fact, you never see it. Outside of maybe, I mean, you could probably count them on one hand, the amount of examples of people that get into Congress and get better. How often do you see that? You never see that. People get into Congress, they get corrupted by the power. You get fucking Ted Cruz talking about how he's basically going on Tucker Carlson and telling him essentially one of my number one things is to defend Israel. You know, anybody who gets into power, you actually see it in reverse. Like, you like somebody before they get elected. I mean, I think even a lot of leftists would say maybe AOC was one of those people. You know, like they loved everything that she was saying. And then, you know, she essentially cucked out to the Democratic establishment. So if you're on the left, maybe you're not a huge fan of AOC anymore. People always get worse. They don't get better. MTG is an enigma in that way. Because I feel like since she's been in this seat, she has actually improved from a policy perspective, even in certain ways from a cultural perspective. You know, I'm not somebody who's going to be like MTG. I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is Thomas Massey. I don't think she's Ron Paul. I don't even think she's Rand Paul. But she has drastically improved as a member of Congress, and you just don't see it. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to just ignore it. I'm not going to ignore it. Go ahead and roll it, Bill. You'll see what I'm saying.
As a conservative and as a business owner in the construction industry and as a realist, I can say we have to do something about labor, and that needs to be a smarter plan than just rounding up every single person and deporting them just like that. Right. So, and I'm going to get pushback on that, but I'm just living in reality from here on out.
Yeah.
And if I'm,
She gave up on the Jewish
anybody's
space
mad at me for
lasers.
saying
I'm
the
back
truth,
to reality,
I'm
guys.
sorry.
Yeah.
Marjorie
I
Taylor
went a little
Greene, ladies and
crazy on the
gentlemen,
Q
our
thing.
next president. Sorry, JD Vance. Well, I mean, there's people are saying it. I go to dinner parties.
Yeah, I heard you.
Well, by the way,
I heard you on Joe Rogan as a conservative and as
So what you have there is you have the anti-immigrant faction of the MAGA crowd. Because I really don't like, I hope people have realized this if you've been listening long enough. I don't like to lump all of MAGA together.
No.
I think there are good factions of MAGA. There are bad factions of MAGA. There are
I try to explain that to people. Like when you start to monolith people together, you're one step away from being a racist.
So the MAGA portion that is like ardently anti-immigrant, and no, I'm not just talking about illegal immigrants. Oh, we just want the illegal immigrants out. No, you're just anti-immigrant. These people have absolutely turned on Marjorie Taylor Greene over this. There are no exceptions. I voted for mass deportations. And maybe you actually did. Maybe they did. That's okay. I don't love it. But what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying here is definitely the pragmatic opinion, which is the scorched earth thing that Kristi Noem is putting forth is not a good look. It's not working. You're rounding up the wrong people. You're putting kids in zip ties. These things are actually happening. There was a story the other day about an ICE vehicle getting in a hit and run with an American citizen. And so in order to make it not look like a hit and run, they found a reason to detain her. A woman that they hit with their car because they didn't want to make it look like a hit and run. Gee, what happens when you say, do the fucking the thing from that episode of South Park where Mr. Garrison becomes an ICE agent? That's not that far from the truth, guys. That's kind of what's happening.
Yeah.
You're just throwing people in ICE uniforms, paying them probably a pretty good salary. I can't even lie about that.
But yeah, with less training than a cop.
Yeah, and her whole thing is this.
Who on our show, if you've listened throughout the years, know that we think cops deserve way more schooling and way more training. And if you can make it through all of that.
No, Corey, they don't
probably
deserve
more
it.
money.
They don't deserve it.
We deserve it. We as taxpayers deserve it. Instead of spending $1 billion on a bunch of bombs we're going to loan to another country to use for some bullshit war, how about we...
Or bailing out Argentina.
Train the cops a little bit more. It's
Pick
insane
your
that in
thing.
the state for it's only for, I don't know what other states are, but I'm sure it's probably not that much different. In the state of Michigan, you have to have 1,200 hours of schooling. But then for a cop, it's like a tenth of that. We're talking about
120 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a buddy who became a Detroit cop pretty easily. I can ask him.
It's probably wow, this was surprisingly easy.
Oh, dude, he was a detective inside of 2 years. He made a detective inside of 2 years. But anyway,
I mean, at that point, he might have went and got a criminal justice degree or something.
He didn't. I know he didn't.
Well,
but what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying here is in regards to her experience as a businesswoman owning a construction company. And people are taking, and the anti-immigrant MAGA crowd are taking that as, did Marjorie Taylor Greene just admit to hiring illegals? And it's like, tell me you've never been in construction without telling me you've never been in construction. Because here's who I don't ever hear bitching about illegal immigrants being hired for construction. People in construction.
Yeah.
You ever heard of it?
No.
You ever heard of it? All I ever hear,
really fucking hard workers.
I know.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
That also, but also, I come from a blue collar background. I know lots of people in construction or in some form of labor within the construction industry. I'm sure you do too, Corey. I'm sure Bell does. We all come from a background similar to that. And all you ever hear is for people that maybe own their own companies or, maybe are general contractors, I can't find any labor. That's all you ever hear out of anybody in any sort of construction.
Yeah.
And
Blue collar workers are the ones that are saying, oh, you just can't find any good work anymore.
You can.
They took our jobs.
That's absolutely right. They didn't. You don't want their jobs.
Right.
Like there is a reality to that.
Yeah, it's a mix of us giving up our jobs and the government being in the way of letting these people just fucking work legally. That created a loophole and an extortion for businesses to give these people like way lower wages because they're illegals. And like they actually, I know the thing, they took our job, but they didn't. Like an immigrant didn't just show up and take your job. Your boss decided to fire you and fire this person.
I mean, one of the jobs that I did when I was attending college, though I never graduated, and shortly after, I think Bell did actually the same thing. I was a painter. Like that's technically a job involved in construction. We did a lot of new construction jobs, and all I can ever remember my boss saying was, "I can't find anybody. Like I can't hire any. Like how am I supposed to grow my business when I don't have anybody available to hire?" And I remember I worked for this guy for like 5 years, and I became his number 2 in less than a year because I stuck around. I showed up for work every day. I painted, and he would constantly hire guys, constantly. They'd last for a week. They'd last for 2 weeks. They'd stop showing up. It'd be like they'd stop showing up, or they'd have to leave early 5 days in a row, or they'd show up 2 hours late, almost every day, smelling like weed or like, and I'm not somebody who's against marijuana, but like there is an aspect of professionalism at a job, right, Corey? I think you would agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, don't show up stoned, don't show up drunk, do that fucking when you go home. Like, that's what I always did. I would go home and drink beer and smoke weed after my job was done. I would go home and do those things.
Or just axe up.
Yeah, like there's like
just spray some axe on you, dude.
Well, you can. Then you just smell like axe and weed.
Or just keep the window down. I don't know. I can't because as a young 20-year-old, I definitely would partake for jobs and stuff like that. But like I never smelled like it.
I hate to break it to you. Yeah, you did. It's whatever it was.
Nah, because I would like smoke before I'd leave, then I'd change and then ride with the windows down. And
you smelled like weed. Yeah. I hate to be the one to tell you.
Nah.
Obviously, it didn't hurt you. It's okay.
I had one job that would drug test me often, but I always passed. Because I didn't inhale, Dan. That's why.
I did it, but I never inhaled. I did not stick a cigar inside that woman. That's what he should have said. You got anything? You got anything else you wanted to add to MTG's deportation take, the pragmatic take that she actually had?
Yeah, no, she said basically what we're saying. It's not what they're doing; it's how they're doing it is what's pissing everyone off. Like they're deporting people in Michigan. There's not big riots here. It's interesting how like some states, and I don't know if it's like the state just, it might just be the state just cooperating. And Whitmer might be just quietly cooperating. They're just like, you'll see a post on Facebook like, "Up, ICE was here," and then like they go in, they grab whatever, and then they leave. It's
Dude,
in
how many fucking kitchens do you think they're raiding? I don't want to give any ideas to ICE, but like it's got to be kitchens.
Yeah, kitchens and new construction. Wherever there's masonry work.
Why can't we build any houses? Why can't we build any houses around here? No, this is gonna be an FAFO real soon, buddy.
Yeah.
You want to talk about this young
Republicans? Because that's also like that's the thing, right? I think like you try to look for the rationality, just so you're not pissed off at nothing. You could still be pissed off at it, but at least it's like you could find like rationality. You're cutting down the labor force, which creates a labor demand. raise wages. You know, you get it all on the evening news of them flying Black Hawk helicopters and kicking in doors. And that's put on national and international. That's put on national and international TV. You know they're seeing it in South America and Mexico and all that, and then they're thinking twice about coming up. Watch it end. Watch it end. Probably. I think I said this last episode too. Watch it end. Like all the optics, like the bad optics of this end. Probably around like January, and Trump called it a success, and let there be a full year of it just not happening anymore. Because he's thinking about the midterms.
Young Republicans said some racist shit in a text thread,
didn't they? Oh my god, dude, we're 2 hours in. It's 10:20.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We didn't get to everything. Shall we just give this a quick review?
Yeah, sure.
Some leaks were some texts were leaked from a young Republican organization of them saying a bunch of like racist and misogynistic shit. My take on it is this: it was a bunch of dumb Republican kids trying to sound cool in front of their friends. Boom.
And edgy.
That was it. And edgy. And edgelording. Because edgelording isn't even cool anymore. Have you noticed that? Like, when did that die?
It's still there.
It's not. It's still there, but it's not as cool as it was. Because you're not getting canceled anymore. The risk of getting canceled isn't as high as it was.
So I got a
years ago.
lot to say about this, actually.
Oh boy.
1 second. Are you ready? I wrote quite a bit here.
Oh boy. I'll let you go.
All right. They're cooked.
I mean, JD Vance defended him a little bit, but I guess I kind of just did too, sort of. I didn't really mean to. What they said was disgusting. When at least if those text messages are.
Oh yeah,
real.
nope. I've been saying it since all this shit's been going on, but I was just mentioning how I think that they're gonna try to end this stuff by like January to like try to gain back some capital. He's probably gonna like try to do a couple domestic things. People are gonna see their taxes coming in with all that money come February. There's gonna be the push for the midterms. All right, so
what
a lot
the
of shit's
fuck
gonna
does that
change.
have to do with young Republicans saying racist shit?
I don't think that push is going to make a difference, and I think that there's going to be a blue wave.
Oh.
And this right here, every single one of these people in these groups are probably going to get exiled. There's probably going to be a big PR movement, and this is just going to be fodder for Democrats to use when
I don't know, dude.
midterms come. The Republicans burned all their capital. I feel like they've lost a majority of any minority who was a part of their coalition. Like, yeah. They probably lost the Muslim vote.
I don't know.
I don't see
Trump
them
just
getting
got the
Hispanic vote again.
ceasefire. Trump just got the ceasefire, so they might get the Muslim vote back. We'll see. I mean, they
Any
never really
Muslim
had
I've
it,
talked
but
to,
they
about
never really
this,
had.
they just go, they same as us, like cautiously optimistic. Is good. Hope it stays.
Yeah, and they never really. But let's be clear, they never really had the Muslim vote. They just the Republicans kind of tapped into it a little bit, a lot like the black vote, especially black men. Trump improved with black men, and he improved with Muslims,
And
but he
Hispanics.
He didn't flip that vote though.
It was enough.
It was enough. It helped for sure.
And now and then the three of them all together adds up.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it was. That's what I mean. Like, it was enough to be significant, but it's not like he flipped those demographics completely. Not that anybody's gonna do that in one election cycle, but we actually got to everything. You want to do TikToks, or are you too tired to do TikToks?
Nah, I got some TikToks for you, buddy.
I think Bell's about to fall asleep over there.
I think he's been laying down the entire time. I saw a leg. He's in his bed. Like he's in his bed sprawled out like he's writing in his diary.
with a joint in his mouth.
We have white privilege.
And so this first video, dude, it literally reminds me of the back and forth rhetoric that you see on social media day in and day out. And it's what it sounds like to me. It's what it looks like to me when I see people just broad brushing the other side, especially in recent events over the last month or so. So go ahead and roll that one, Bell.
I saw this one by mistake.
I just basically started a revolutionary club. It's called the Anti-Bad Guy, Good Guy Club. And either you're with the Anti-Bad Guy, Good Guy Club, or you basically support the bad guys. Literally because all of history is basically the bad guys versus the good guys. And I'm clearly on the good guy team because literally look at the name. And so pretty much everything, either you're a part of the Anti-Bad Guy, Good Guy Club, or you're basically helping the bad guys. And so if you're helping the bad guys, then that makes you also a bad guy. And then we're going to have to basically kill you.
This is, no, that is, I don't think people will understand how philosophically brilliant that video actually is.
Oh, yeah. It's phenomenal, isn't it?
That's how people view not only politics, but also war, right? It's this view of war. I think Dave Smith has said it, and I stole it from him a few weeks ago because I thought it was a perfect analogy. It's like when people view war or politics like 7-year-olds playing with action figures.
Yep.
This is the good guy. This is the bad guy. And like, that's it. That's all there is to it. And that's exactly what that video was. It's philosophically brilliant.
Yeah. So this next one I just thought was interesting. It goes back to the APAC conversation, and it's someone who's a pretty prominent Democrat just being asked some hard questions here.
It looks like Cory Booker.
That is Cory Booker. He spells his name different than mine. Thank God. Go ahead and play that one, Bell.
He has no E?
No E.
Look, I'm one of a handful of people that don't take corporate PAC money. I don't understand my Democratic
What
Party.
about APAC money? You take APAC money, don't you?
A minuscule percentage of my resources come
I
from
read it's like 800,000.
Yeah, but that's a lifetime number.
A lifetime number. That's only like minor your salary every year.
Have you
since I've been in Congress.
no. So I think this is going to become a thing, right? Because Cory Booker is not the first person to pull this bullshit where he goes, I don't take corporate PAC money. Bernie kind of started it. It was kind of bullshit even when he said it, where they were, especially Democrats.
Right. It
And
wouldn't be
there are
it wouldn't be a corporation, it'd be CEOs of a corporation doing that.
or it's the whole like what Bernie tried to pull with the whole
because
what am I looking for? The big pharma, where he goes, oh, those are small dollar donations from employees of the drug companies. I do not take any corporate money from the drug companies. And it's like, dude. So they're just going to take
true.
They're just going to take these big PACs and find a way to collect all the money, but find a way to make it look like it's coming into the books from small donors. Because that's what the American people do want. They want to see politicians that have small dollar donations. By the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene leading the nation among Republicans in small dollar donations. So if Donald Trump wants to try to primary her, I shouldn't say Donald Trump because he probably doesn't. But if the normie Republicans want to try to primary her, that's going to be an interesting race. That was just kind of a little bit of an aside, but I think that's where this is going. We're going away from quote unquote corporate PACs to they're just going to find a way to hide this corporate PAC money through small dollar donations. Yeah. I think that's the next step.
So this next one, Dan, I need you to lock it in and jot it on down. Go ahead and make a note of it.
You get
on
a pen.
October 15th, 2025, I have found my candidate for president for 2028. Okay. Go ahead and roll this one, Bell.
And it's not even
We're
vermin
going to do
supreme.
things a little different in my administration. We're going to take Adderall from Schedule 2 down to vending machine. We're going to legalize every firework. Pass Medicare for all. We're going to change the national anthem from the gay one we have now to Chicken Fried by the Zac Brown Band. That's just more what America's about. We're going to end all veterans discounts. Let's be honest, there hasn't been a war that has deserved a veterans discount lately. We're going to create a national registry of every septum piercing and give them my phone number. Make it legal for you to buy handguns in the mail again. I look forward to serving you in the White House.
And a little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right. And the radio.
That's my president.
I'd vote for him.
I'd vote for him. And then
maybe not the Medicare for all part, but I can get behind anything else.
And then this last one, it's I had one of my sources. I got this leaked audio.
Oh God!
From behind the scenes when the FBI was trying to figure out what exactly their next move was because everyone's questioning all their steps. So here it is. An inside scoop. Roll that bell.
Get people to stop talking. You don't understand. Cash put me in charge. He said, get people to stop talking about Epstein. Epstein, the huge pedophile guy who knows everybody. Who's going to stop talking about that? What's more interesting than that?
Can we just do COVID again?
Okay, it's so funny you said that because I tried to do that last week. Everyone got super sick and just no one said anything.
Maybe like the 9/11 guys?
I called them. They said they won't even do it. They want to do a fucking comedy festival.
Travis Kelce has a bad haircut.
Ooh, okay, I actually like that. Okay, that's actually interesting. How about this? Can we post this article? Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift stun in new photo.
There's like some Venezuelan boats.
Blow it up. I don't care. It's probably the talent.
I'll tell the guys, blow them up.
What about Israel-Gaza? What's going on with that?
Why don't we just solve it?
I don't like it. I don't like any of this stuff. Is there a way? Can we just shut it down?
Shut what down?
Just the whole government. Just shut it all down. The immigrants came in and they shut down the government because they want to be trans. Yes.
Will we still get paid if we shut it down?
Let's just print more money.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll just print more money.
Do we still get paid if they shut it down? We'll just print more money. So yeah, sometimes our sources surprise us, Dan. I got that on a hot mic.
Yeah, that was actually from inside the Capitol. We don't know. We can't verify the voices of the Congress people
inside the FBI.
We have white privilege.
That's what we have. All right. Shall we call it? Shall we call it an evening, Corey?
Oh man, that one surprised me. I thought it was the long one. Just a quick little bam. Oh man, that
fucking white people.
That one got me. That was funny.
Tell the people where they
Libservative podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com. We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast, and you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today.
Or
Act
preferably,
now.
preferably yesterday. Smash that like button and that notification bell.
Give us a like. And tell a friend.
And
Share this
tell
with a friend.
Multiple friends.
Podcast
All right.
spread the best by word of mouth.
For Bell the Body Snatcher on the ones and twos, he as always has been Corey Walsh.
He's Dan Griffin.
It's been Libservative Intellectual Idiots fostering political and cultural literacy and the world's smartest internet show. And until next time, we are out of here.
The great fundamental issue now before our people cannot turn back. Somebody must lead, or else the fight would not be made at all.